everybody, it's Tuppence and it's Froggy time. I'm going to do a pretty easy one today as far as the pour goes. Anyway, I am literally going to cover the surface of my mould with this mica powder. It's marketed as a marble colour, got it from Temu. And then I'm going to use some pure gold Arteza mica in the resin, and that's all I'm going to do with the frog so far. I will decorate it afterwards, but for the pour I'm just going to start by covering the surface with this mica powder, which is a gorgeous gold. Now let me just grab a dust mask before I start doing that. Okay, and now I can start dusting this on, because this stuff is so fine and it flies all over the place, and it is marketed as a marble colour, and by that I think what they mean is it's meant for marbling. It's meant to float on the surface of whatever medium you use for marbling. Whew. It's a good job I've got my mask on. Can you see how that is flying around? So please be careful and wear masks for things like this. Let me just move that out of the way because I'll knock it flying. Oh, this is my old mould, the one that was broken, so obviously it's still knocking around. I'll just cut that off afterwards when I demould it. So I'm trying to spread the powder that I've got in here out. I'm just adding very small amounts at a time. This really does go so far, and I'm making sure that I get any loose powder out. Just want to make sure that I've got some in these little toes. And I think that looks like everything is covered. Yeah, I can't see any gaps. But as I'm going to be mixing gold mica powder into this craft resin, then I think we're going to be fine. So this is the pure gold from Arteza, and I'm using the craft resin because that's a low viscosity resin, so it will help to eliminate the bubbles. I'm going to put 2 good heaps in there, and then I'm going to make sure that I mix this thoroughly. This is speeded up. I'm not mixing it this fast because I don't want to put any more bubbles in there than necessary. There you go, that looks really nice. I'm just lifting some up and looking at it to make sure that there aren't any lumps in there, because they will clump at the bottom of your mould and then you'll end up with a hole in your resin. Okay, I think I'm ready to pour this now. So I'm going to tilt my mould and then pour the resin down into the head, and I'll keep filling the head up until it's almost ready to spill out. And I'm just going to drop the mould down to the table. So it's a little bit like playing chicken with the resin. I don't want it to go all over the place, but this way I tend not to get bubbles, which is great, because under the chin and under those hips are where you're going to get some. I've sped this up a little bit so you don't have to watch me tediously pouring this in. I'm just going to pour little drips into the toes. I want to make sure that they don't have any air bubbles in them, because they're not going to be easy to fix afterwards. Try and drip some from the cup and not get it all over the place. Practice is perfect. We're making so many of these frogs now that it is becoming easier and easier. And we certainly know how much to pour, so there was 4 ounces that I mixed up, and that is enough for this frog. Last little bit. I really love the pattern on there, and I'm seriously hoping that it comes out that colour that I lay down on the surface. So just scrape the last little bit out. Don't want to waste any of this gold. It's demould time. So I'm going to start with the feet, the back feet, and then try and pull this off the hips. Oh, I don't know if that's bubbles. Don't know, it's like little black dots there, but could be bubbles. So I didn't get a chance to get in there with a stick, but it actually doesn't feel like there's bubbles. The surface itself is nice and solid. That's the little overpour bit, so I'll cut that off afterwards. Let's just try and get the hands off at the front, and then I can pull off the head, and ooh, more of those dots under the chin, but nothing on the back. Lovely. Oh, it's a somersaulting frog. That is beautiful, beautiful colour and exactly what I wanted. So now I'm going to decorate her. As beautiful and shiny as this frog is, I can't leave it like that. I'm just going to put a little bit of Vaseline on the tips of my gloves because I would like to use some UV clay. This is the stuff for your nails. I want to make some vines, and I've got some leaves and roses. I've got some gems. This is a green nail powder. So I want to try and make a kind of rose garden frog. I'm going to make some vines and then put the roses and the leaves along the back. So I've just pulled a small amount out. I'm going to work in very small pieces just so that I don't end up curing it. And I'm going to add a little bit of green from the lid. So this is an acrylic powder, it's not a mica powder. I'm just going to dab that on the lid and then mix that in, and it will give it just enough colour, but it will still be slightly transparent and I'll be able to cure it. So mix it up between my fingers. I'm sorry that's a little bit off camera. I am literally just rolling it around between my fingers just to distribute the colour. Move that out the way for a minute. And now I'm going to make a sausage or a vine shape. I just want to make this into a long roll. One of the first things we learn to do when we're playing with clay as kids, and it hasn't stopped since. Okay, now I can drape this over the back, and it's pretty sticky. It does stick, and once you cure it, it's permanent on there. So it's really soft because it's quite hot in here today. I will set this temporarily, not completely, with my lamp, just so that if I touch it I don't end up squishing it, because that is easily done. It's so soft from the heat of my hands and the warmth. I repeated this process and carried on laying down the vines, and then once I had them all in place I cured this underneath my lamp. That's how to cure under the lamp, and I want to put these roses on. I'm going to use some super glue, and I'm going to try and use some tweezers, which I'm not very good with, but I don't want to be gluing my fingers of my gloves together, which is entirely possible. So I'm sorry that's out of shot of the camera, but I'm just putting a blob on the back of that rose, and then I'm going to put it in place. I want to try and get it in position where I want it straight away. This one's fine, it's balanced on the top of the back, so that can just sit there for a few seconds. This one, yeah, I managed to drop it, but it's fine. I'm just going to push it in place and hold it for a few seconds. This stuff really does work quickly. I don't have the activator that you need for it, but it's fine. As long as you hold it in place for a few seconds, it sticks. So again, I'm going to pop some music on and decorate this with some roses. Now I want to add some leaves. I also got these from Temu and they are nail decorations as well. I'm not really keen on the fact that they're multicoloured. I mean, I don't know how useful the white ones are, but none of them are the darker colour that I wanted for this project. So I took an alcohol ink marker. I've used a Copic Chow and I coloured them. I did colour most of them front and back, some of them just on the front. And you can see some of them I've coloured completely and some are mottled, but they look a lot better. And I'm going to apply those also with some super glue, so I'm going to have to hold that in place and just wait for that to go off. Hope that I don't glue the tweezers in place. There you go. So I'm going to go around and do this and place the leaves. I'll speed this up a little bit and I'll put the music back on. The leaves are all on and it's beautiful, but I want to add some of these gems. I'm going to put some of the super glue onto this bag, just a small dot, and then I've got a pickup tool. I'm going to pick up the gems, dip them into that glue and then arrange them on the frog. So I just had to make sure I held them in place on the frog for a little while until the glue set. The pickup tool was working fine. And then all of a sudden it stopped, and it didn't matter how many times I replaced the wax in it, it still wasn't working. So I switched to using a little bit of blue tack wrapped around the end of a microbrush stick, and that worked really well. Okay, I think that is it for this one. I'm really glad that I added those gems. I wasn't sure if I would. I think this is my favourite one so far. After last week's hideous frog goblin, I'm really happy with this one. I've just got a little bit more trimming to do around the toes, and then I can take it outside and get some close-up photos. Froggy Friday is hosted by Lisa, Girl in the Garage, Karen for the Dragon's Cave, Loula, Nerd Goblin Art, Tim Watkins, Space Resonator, and Gert from Gert Creates. If you want to join, please contact one of them and they'll add your video to the playlist. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's free. There's a QR code on the screen and you'll be able to scan that with your phone. That will allow you to subscribe if you're watching on the TV. I hope you do so, and then you can come back and see what I'm going to make next time. Thank you so much for watching and take care. Bye.